If you turn this video at one point off, then please tell me what the reason for it was so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I am trying to learn Biographyology. Today, Antony of Padua, Saint Antony of Padua. And after we've done that, we're going to do neck stretching. And if you participate in the neck stretching, then ist bitte alles. Antony of Padua, he lived in the 12th century, in the 12th and 13th century. The feast day is the 13th of June. Symbols in art are book, bread, the infant Jesus, and a talk. Now, and here on that picture, I think we have it all. So there is someone that must be then Saint Antony of Padua. It could be the infant Jesus and a lily, and a talk in the right hand, and bread, it's not there, but a book. Okay. Patronage of lost articles, of poverty, of starvation, of harvest, of pregnant and barren women, of sailors, travelers, fishermen, and of animals. I still don't know what barren means. We had it here in the previous part of St. Mary, with St. Anne. But I don't know what it means. There was a considerable social stigma attached to their barrenness, to Joachim and St. Anne. Okay, of lost articles, poverty, fishermen, animals, pregnancy and barren woman, pregnant and barren woman, harvest, starvation, sailors, travelers, poverty. Paintings. The Miracles of St. Antony by Titan. 3 frescoes at Padua. So he is of Padua. Padua is a city, obviously. And Vincente Carducco has made a vision of St. Antony of Padua. The prophet, he is a Franciscan friar and gift preacher, doctor of the church. Doctor of the church, we used it previously with St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose, Bishop of Milan and one of the 4 early doctors of the Western Church, known as the honeycomb doctor for his eloquence. Is doctor something which people become in the church? Doctor of the church. And he was of a Franciscan and a friar, I don't know what a friar is. And he was a gifted preacher. Antony may have raised a few eyebrows when he denied his noble Portuguese inheritance to take up the vows of poverty. Okay, he was the son of someone who was a person of a nobility in Portuguese. But he decided to take his vows and become a monk, a friar, a preacher, something like that, to live in poverty. But even his brethren were surprised when Antony, on hearing how some Franciscan missionaries were murdered in Morocco for their faith, was so filled with zeal for Christian martyrdom that he decided to follow the example and went to evangelize among the Muslims. Okay. I would like to know the Padua is. I know the name very good, but I can't remember the Padua is. Morocco is in the northern part of Africa, just a few kilometers away from Spain. And in Portugal also. So there's Spain and Portugal, there's directly Morocco. Now, and during the time in the 13th century, there is said here in the book that there were Franciscan missionaries, so that people who try to convert other people to Christendom were in Morocco murdered because of their faith. I don't know what zeal means. And he decided, I think that is what I mean, he decided to go to Morocco, I think, and try to tell to people who have a religion of Islam to become part of the Christian religion. Though illness there, so he went to Morocco. Though illness there forced him to abandon his mission, he had heard his calling to be a Franciscan preacher. Okay, he went to Morocco. He wanted to go to all the people there and tell them of the stories of the Bible and Christendom. He got ill, so he went back probably, but he became a Franciscan preacher. Antony settled in Italy after his ship landed there during a storm on his return from Morocco. Okay, the ship maybe wanted to go from Morocco to Spain or to Portugal, but that ship came into a storm and it landed a bit more to the other side, around for 600-700 kilometers or so, by Sicily or by Italy. During an ordination ceremony, Antony was told to fill in and utter whatever words the Holy Spirit should provide. Okay, I don't know what an ordination ceremony is, but there was some type of, in a religious context, a speech given, and when Antony should say some words, and these words should be said as he receives them from the Holy Spirit. The eloquence of his sermon amazed all present, and therefore his talents became renowned. He was speaking very good. Though he was strong in spirit, his body was weak, so he was still or again ill. Antony died aged just 36 in Padua, the city he had made his home and where his relics remain. Today his tomb is a popular pilgrimage shrine, so Padua must be then in Italy. For some reason I can't remember where. I know some things about Padua, but I can't remember where it is. Okay, he died early with just 36, when in Padua where also a shrine is, and his relics, and there are people pilgrimaging to the shrine in Padua. There's a movie with the title, I think. Pilgrimage to Padua. I know there is something. I'm going to find it. Finder of Lost Things. Everywhere, St. Anthony is asked to intercede with God for the return of things lost or stolen. The reason can be traced back to an incident in the monastery when his book of Psalms was stolen by a novice who had left the community. Antony prayed that it would be found, and the thief was moved to return the psalter to him and also return to the order. According to legend, the novice was stopped in his flight by a devil brandishing an axe and threatening to trample him underfoot if he did not immediately return the book. Why did the devil make the person do a good thing and return the book and go back into the order? And I don't know what brandishing means. Whatever, he had an axe and he threatened the person. Shortly after Anthony's death, people began praying through him to recover lost or stolen articles. It is written of him, "The sea obeys and fetters break, and lifeless limbs thou darst restore, but treasures lost are found again, when young or old thine aid implore." Okay. So the story tells that Antony was in an order, and when a novice or someone stole his book with psalms in it and also left the community. While this person was then leaving somewhere out on all the streets, it is said that a devil threatened him with an axe and to trample him over if he would not do a good thing and bring the book back, and the person even joined again, the one also already returned to the order. Now, and after the death of Anthony, of Saint Anthony of Padua, then people started to pray if some people do that, if they lost something or something was stolen from them, so that it might return. And there's written, "The sea obeys and fetters break, and lifeless limbs thou darst restore. Thy treasures lost are found again, when young or old thine aid implore." So the sea obeys, so the sea gets calm. And fetters break, I don't know what fetters are. And lifeless limbs thou darst restore. So someone who cannot walk can walk again. Thy treasures lost are found again, when young or old thine aid implore. So when people, whether they are young or old, praying to Saint Anthony of Padua for the stolen or lost things, miracles. 3 of the most celebrated miracles attributed to Saint Anthony, who was considered the greatest miracle worker of his times in the 3rd century, are as follows. So the first miracle, which is told about, at Rimini, a horse refused to eat its normal diet of oats for 3 days. Only when Saint Antony held out the Eucharist did the horse break its fast. I don't know what an Eucharist is. but some religious thing, an object. So there was a horse which wasn't eating for already 3 days, and when St. Anthony held out his Eucharist, and when the horse ate again, and probably was not happy. Second miracle, which is reported by some people, by making the sign of a cross, he rendered harmless poisoned food offered to him by some Italian heretics. I think that there were some people who tried to poison him. And he knew that they were about to poison him, and everyone else knew that also. Okay, this could be possibly a conspiracy. And then he did the cross, and that saved him, or did make the food unpoisoned. But how do the people know that it was poisoned? So that is the second miracle. We try to understand the miracle. The miracle was that the people who were trying to poison him. When he made the sign of the cross, and the food became unpoisoned. But how do we now know that it was poisoned? Maybe the people admitted it. And the third miracle, he delivered a sermon to fish on the bank of the river Brenta near Padua. I don't really understand it. Was he talking to the fish? Or was he talking about fish? Or was he saying, go fishing? To go fishing. He delivered a sermon to go fishing at the river Brenta near Padua. And there's the miracle. I can't tell the third miracle if there's not a miracle written. He was holding a great speech. That's the end of it. Above representations of Saint... Maybe there was a stone or something. Above a representation of Saint Antony of Padua, often shown him holding the lily, that is for purity. The lily is the symbol of purity. In one hand and the infant Christ in the other. I can't see the lily. I see the talk. Where's the lily? Whatever. We have information of Antony of Padua. We are way out of time. We have the information about Saint Antony of Padua together. He lived in the 13th century, and he was from Portugal, but he went to live in poverty. He decided to live in poverty, and he went to Morocco, even though it was a dangerous region, to missionary. But when he returned, because he was ill at health, he stranded in Italy. He stayed in Padua in Italy, and he was said that he was very eloquent, and that his words were coming from the Holy Spirit. He died with just 36, and his place in Padua is, I think it's a movie, Pilgrimage to Padua, and there are people pilgrimaging to that. And people are praying if they lost something to him. And there are 3 miracles told. The first one is that the horse was not eating, but when he held out his Eucharist and the horse was eating. The second one is that people tried to poison him, but he made the sign of a cross, and then the food was not poisoned, or he was able to survive it. And the third one is he held a sermon to fish. Maybe there was something special happening why fishing wasn't possible. There's another story I heard about that was with Jesus, and Jesus was telling to the people that they should go out again to fish. And they had come back 7 times or whatever without having caught fish. And Jesus then encouraged them to go out another time, and this time they caught a lot of fish. Maybe it's something like that. Now, that was the biographyology part. If you were here for biographyology, then you can go directly to the next part of biographyology. We will do then this presentation based on these information, a bit more proper. Otherwise, if you stay here and participate in our Neckstretching, we have 1 minute, and then it's at the August. Letting legs standing shoulder width apart, breathing in and reaching with our fingertips as far as we can. And again down, reach as far as possible. And now reach to the front. Down. And backwards. Tall up, breathe in. Out, turn your head slowly over to one side. Chin down onto the clavicle, breathe out. Breathe again in. Lift the head up and turn the head over to the other side. Breathe again in. Out, chin down onto the clavicle. Breathe in, lift the gaze back into the middle. Have the legs standing together, breathe in, lift the arms up. And breathe out, lean back and draw the shoulder blades together. In and up with the hands. Out and again back. And up with the backs and down with the hands. It is good. Breathe in, lift the arms up. And out and down. in the arms up. Bring the hands together and lower them down. That was the neck stretching, the short neck stretching. I think I will much in the next step.